That's all right.
I don't know if you saw my post. Oh yeah, okay. Somebody might be here. Anyone here, or is that you? No, that's Bobby. Oh, Bobby's here. Okay, Bobby might pop in a little bit later. He's my producer guy. He works on some of the shows, and he helps out Maggie and Peter on Tuesday night. And if you haven't listened to them, they have some interesting stories.
Hmm.
And they have a podcast called Positude Podcast
Wow.
at 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. So, and then Maureen is amazing. She does her own shows.
Yeah.
So that's cool. There's Lady V. Venus. Venus is a good friend of mine. I've known Venus probably almost long as I've been on the air. Oofy, of course,
Hey, Ophi.
and and that's a woman, not a guy.
Oh, yeah.
So Maureen, she pops in on Maureen's
Yeah.
show, and
Yeah.
He does too.
yeah.
And who is Facebook user? Who's that?
I don't know. Let me pop on Facebook.
I can
Hi,
never
everybody.
see. Yeah. All right. So we have tonight with us a very special couple of guests. Anthony Simonelli. Where's my sandwich, Anthony?
How you doing?
Yeah, where's my sandwich at? Man, I went hungry all weekend long. I was waiting for a sandwich. I'm glad they had food trucks there. I would have been dead.
Yeah.
Hello to our dearest friend Chris and Audra. And hey, Ronald. Okay. All right. And oh, there's our friend Nightbot. All right. Because he woke up early. forget about it. All right. So now, if you want, Chris, if you want to do this, I can put the link in the chat, and anyone can join the panel if they want. You want to do that? Just have an open panel and let our friends join.
Sure.
I mean, it's up to you. We can still talk and have fun. And yeah, sometimes everybody gets carried away, and what the heck,
It's your show, brother. You do what you want to do.
How's your ankle doing, Audra? By the way.
I'm surviving, thanks. And thanks again to anybody at Gettysburg Bash. You guys were wonderful and caring.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
my clumsiness stepping in a gopher hole. But yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
hanging in there.
Well, I don't know. The way that you told the story sounded like you tried to kick over like an anthill or something like that. You just twisted your ankle. I don't.
She was picking on the Gophers at the restaurant.
There you go. There you go.
They won apparently because I walked.
No, I don't.
Something.
I wouldn't like to suffer that. I had my own leg problems. I had leg surgery the week before. I had vein surgery on my legs. And it's not like the old days where they had to strip your leg, strip the veins, where they had actually cut a big long cut up your leg and they had to pull out the vein. No, it wasn't like that.
Ooh.
They go in with a different procedure now, ultrasound and do the light laser thing or whatever, or laser thing, as some people say.
Laser thing.
Yeah, they use little air quotes and a laser.
Right.
And but yeah, it's a pretty remarkable procedure compared to the old days. But what happened with my situation? I had a couple of vein areas that were collapsing, and it was causing a circulation issue. It's causing my leg to swell. Okay, and then my skin split, which had caused an never-ending open wound. Open sore. Which, if you ever had shin splints from running, you know what that feels like.
Sure.
And imagine an open wound that never heals right in that same area where there ain't much skin to work with. And just pulling the tendons away, Yeah, it was painful. Very painful. It still kind of hurts now, but it's not as bad, and it's actually closed up. The wound clinic finally got a hold of it and got it working and got my procedure done and everything like that, which it took forever. About 2 years. I had the approval for Medicare to get the procedure done, and then I was going to have to drive to South Dakota to get it done. 2.5 hour drive for me. Well, everything's like 2.5 hours for me. But anyway, then the guy had opened up an office in the Wyndham area in the main hospital in Wyndham, and he's there once a month. And so then he was all happy about that. But then Medicare, my approval thing timed out, so we had to get it approved again. And they don't want to give you anything, they. I don't want to get political or anything. I'm just saying they don't want to give you anything when you're in need. They don't want to do anything real fast. And I had the woman in South Dakota in Sioux Falls, heart clinic or whatever it was over there, that deals with the veins, And so she was working on all that stuff, getting the coding correct in order to get that all approved. I didn't know that was going on in the background. And then she calls me up about May and says, "Hey, we got an approval on your procedure. We can do it in July or June, whatever. July, I guess. Yeah, July." And because I was able to go to Pine Bush with no problem, and then it was July, I think, when I had it done. And then I came to Gettysburg, So, but yeah, I was up and walking and moving around just fine. Still a little sore, but yeah, amazing what they can do.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
So let me put that link in there, and we'll see. I can just go ahead and hit paste here because I already pasted it on your chat. So I'll do it that way, and then we'll see how many people are gullible enough to jump in with us.
Careful, you get 30, 40 people in here.
No, we can only get 10. That's one good thing. There is a limit. That's StreamYard thing. They have a limit. 10, and we already got 2. So, 2 screens.
So, Lady V, to answer your question, Audra is my wife. So, yes, we are a thing.
Together.
Yeah.
We are a thing.
I tried
Well,
to.
between Lady V, between Lady V and Oofy, you're gonna have your hands full of some strange comments. But they're good people. They're both good, really good friends. Really good people. I've known Venus. I know her as Venus, Lady V. I've known her for, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years, I'm guessing.
Wow.
Oopie, I think, it's been about 6, maybe. Unless she's been in other names, I don't know. I don't know. Anthony, of course, I've known him for a while. And I haven't.
Everybody knows Anthony.
I looked at if you don't know Anthony, then you ain't nobody.
That's right. You're not paying attention.
That's right. And if you don't know him, then you better start knowing him because he's a good person to be around.
Yes, he is.
Good person to have on your side too.
Absolutely.
So, who is the Facebook user? Hey guys.
I don't know. I can't see the chat on Facebook.
Well, is it Loki? Because Anthony put "Hey Loki."
Might be Lourdes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lourdes. Okay.
Yeah.
Could be.
See, no, I don't know how to. I mean, I can't correct that. That's something the person looking in has to change. I think they have to approve StreamYard to read their permission. Okay.
No, game's done.
Oh yeah, Anthony told me something about the Staticom on at Gettysburg. Now, of course, I was after the karaoke. I was like gone.
Yeah, you disappeared quick.
I went back to sleep. I guess I went not quite back to sleep, but I went upstairs to relax in nice cool air, and then I fell asleep. And then Anthony told me Saturday. He said, "Yeah, we were doing Staticom at midnight. I went until like 4 a.m. or whatever."
Oh yeah,
boy. So what was that like? What did you get?
So
what did you get there?
Basically, what we did is Ron commandeered one of the conference rooms. And for anybody that doesn't know what Staticom is Tony Rathman, Cherie Rathman, Ron Iacovetti, and Lourdes Gonzalez do this. It's they started doing direct radio voice, which is it uses a frequency, and then they use a filtering system with the computer that filters out any exterior noise and allows any underlying voices to come through on a receiving frequency that's higher. And they would stick with one frequency, which doesn't have any transmission on it. It's a higher frequency than radio frequencies, right? And what they ended up doing is between Ron and Tony, they figured out that the voices were actually coming from behind the white noise.
Hmm.
So they quit using the receiving radio frequency and started using a white noise generator, which isn't a receiver. It just puts out white noise. And once they take the white noise generator and they filter it through the software that they have in their computer system, basically, in all of reality and in technical terms, once they filter out that white noise, there should be complete silence. But what they're
Yeah.
finding is they're getting voices, intelligent responses, consciousness, and real-time answers coming in at a faster speed than most human speech. So they also added something that slows it down so you can hear it more in real time. So we commandeered a room. There's Mr. Iacovetti right there. Lourdes and Iacovetti are watching. Simonelli, Tony and Cherie are watching. I know that. But what they do is they take that white noise generator. It's not a receiver. It's not a frequency. And they filter it through the computer system, and it allows. So when those filters come through in layman's terms, they're a lot more technical with the details than I am about it. But once that all comes through and they filter all the white noise out, it should be complete silence because it's not a receiving frequency. It's just a white noise generator. But what ends up happening is they get voices. And they've used it on multiple investigations up in Ron's area. Tony's done multiple investigations with the Staticom and also presentations down in the Arizona area. And then we also did it when the 6 of us were here in North Carolina and did an investigation at the Montgomery house that we control the investigations at. And God, the voices that come through are clear. Amazing. They're intelligent. They have consciousness to them. The responses they get is timely. It's just amazing. And sometimes there's multiple voices coming through and you actually have to listen close to catch it. Because there's times it sounds like there's 20, 30 people trying to talk all at once. But you actually get answers, intelligent answers to your questions. Like, as an example, so our tagline from our show, Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence, every Monday night is the very last thing we say is stay haunted. Yep. Tony had these hats on at our investigation here at the Montgomery house, and we asked the spirits, can you tell us what's on Tony's hat? We didn't say it. And they repeated stay haunted. What's really exciting is Tony, Ron, Lourdes, and Cherie have a 3-part documentary coming out that explains Staticom and gives some examples of the evidence that they've got that we've captured, that they've captured.
I did see the promo. Are you able to show that at all?
I don't have access to it, and I wouldn't because it's theirs.
Right.
We're the part of the team, but Tony, Ron, Lourdes, and Cherie, they're the ones that are the Staticom guys.
Well, we'd
Audra and I
have to have them on the show. We'd have to have them on the show, then they can show it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Julie, how you doing? Julie's a good old friend of mine. Well, she's not that old, but anyway, she's a good, long time friend.
I'll in trouble, Ronald.
I'll rephrase that. Yeah. You don't want to. Julie's one of the people in chat that you don't want to make mad. I'll put it that way. So then, how did you get turned on to this paranormal investigation stuff? If you have, I heard your answer on one of the things talking about you wouldn't investigate certain places. For both of you now, you can each both answer these 3 questions, or answer the 3-part answer, I guess, to this question. Which would be the possibly top 3 things that you won't investigate and why? Now, it might be kind of personal. If you don't want to answer it, just say you don't want to answer it.
Oh, no, we're not shy. You want to go first?
You're more the whole church thing, right?
So, for everybody watching, so I'm a sensitive, but I'm also ex-law enforcement. I'm an ordained minister. I'm studying to be a demonologist. I've done house cleansing. I've been in the paranormal now for officially with equipment investigating for approximately 26 years, but I've been experiencing things as a sensitive since I was a child. So I'm a highly religious person. Plus I'm also part Cherokee Indian. So there's only 2 places that I will never investigate. One of them is an old abandoned church. And the reason I do that, that's just my personal belief. A lot of people do churches. I don't have an issue with it. But my personal belief is once God has left and the church is abandoned, it allows negativity to come in, and that's something I choose not to be around. And one of the reasons why spiritually I won't do Native American spiritual or burial areas is because I believe those are sacred sites, and I won't do it, and it's part of my heritage.
Okay.
Other than that, I'll investigate pretty much anything. It's just those two places I won't go into, but that's my personal beliefs. So,
Yeah,
I remember you talking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know that there's any specific place that I wouldn't investigate, but I'm a wuss. I usually just kind of get drug along since we got together. I won't investigate alone ever. So that's just kind of me. I won't do that. But as far as places go,
right.
I don't have anything against any of them.
Okay. What is the most interesting place you've ever investigated, and you got evidence like you were just shocked that it was happening?
For me personally, I still like. I grew up in Ohio, and I've been away from Ohio for quite a number of years. But my parents live kind of outside the city limits, and there's a really old small cemetery there called Tintagony, and the amount of activity there was surprising, and the different pockets in the cemetery was surprising. I mean, you face one part of it, and I don't say they're friendly, but there was like a younger female spirit, and she was very willing to communicate. And then there's another section that you just feel the energy shift. It's darker. We caught an EVP after asking, where did this little girl go? And an EVP came back with, we took their souls. And it's like, oh, okay, wow. That's nice. So that to me is still probably one of the more active favorite spots that I go to.
Yep.
Okay. And then here's a comment from Julie. Actually, we're talking about Julie. I'm not going to show you the first comment she put. We'll leave that one alone. We'll look at that. What do you think of
that? Separating EVP recordings to see if there are spirit voices behind some of the cycling of spirit box noise. Spirit box we don't use. Audra and I are very old school. We use digital recorders. We use cameras. And what we do is, because metaphysically we're connected, we will walk a location. Sometimes I walk the location by myself. And where I feel the most energy, I place my equipment. I don't carry equipment with me while we're doing an investigation. I chase what I feel and look for the pockets of energy. And that's what we chase. And hopefully it's near some of the equipment that we've placed.
Usually is.
It usually is.
Usually comes back pretty good.
Like, for example, we did a private investigation with about 5 other groups, a total of about 15 people. Mm-hmm. We booked private investigation at Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Western West Virginia. And normally I would walk the whole facility by myself, and then I'd go grab Audra, and then we'd walk through and place the equipment. That place is so huge that Audra and I walked together and placed the equipment as we were picking stuff up. And one of the sections was the old lobotomy section on the first floor. We both walked in there. We both got the smell of death, got really bad energy from it. Not a place we wanted to hang out in most of the night, but we dropped a recorder. And Trans-Allegheny is one of my favorite places. We've been there a couple times now, and I'd go back in a heartbeat. We actually caught an EVP of a lobotomy. You can actually hear someone say no, and then you can hear the mallet hitting the spike, and then a big, long, extended scream.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was one of the best EVPs we ever caught.
That sounds like it would hurt.
Oh yeah, because they didn't give them any anesthesia or anything, and most of the patients that they did the lobotomies on weren't volunteers.
No.
So, to answer Julie's question, we don't use Spirit Box, but what we do use is we use a filtering software to review our EVPs, and it's just, some people use Audacity, some people use other things. It's just basically just like your standard review software where you can pull out certain sections of the recording, and you can amplify it if needed, or you can slow it down if needed. But for the most part, when we review, we only pull out Class A's. I've got hundreds of recordings in here in my computer that I could probably go back and review
again.
Yeah, and filter again and get some Class B's, but I only pull out my Class A's to show as evidence.
Okay. All right, good deal. All right, now let's see.
Oofy
that's Oofy saying no old churches. She's just taking notes.
No
Ron Yacovetti, Jan Racovetti. Yeah, I was gonna say it back.
Jan Racovetti.
There you go. He had something there. I'm trying to keep up with these here.
Oh, I see. Oh, Ron's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Love
them.
Him,
love our team.
Yeah, love our team. Very close friends, not just a team, not just podcast hosts with us. They're very close friends, and we hold them to our hearts dearly.
Mm-hmm.
So Julie says, the spirit box was the way to communicate with my spirit guide, and it seems like there was more behind the box noise. You know what, Julie, for the years of experience that we've had and been doing investigation, there's always more. There's always more.
Mm-hmm.
We could actually spend, usually when we do an investigation, I have 3 recorders and 2 to 3 video cameras, and it usually takes me weeks to review one time to pull out Class A's. If I pulled out the Class B's and everything that was behind the noise that you hear, it would take me months to go through one investigation.
But the always more is what you chase.
Yeah.
And that's what brings you back time and time and time again. Even if it's with the same equipment, or if you want to change your equipment, it's just that always more.
There's always more.
Oofy had a question earlier.
Oh, did I miss it?
Right here for Chris.
Thank you.
Places that only for old buildings of other faiths.
Oh, there it is.
Great question.
Great question. She's asking, to regards to off-limit places, it's only Christian churches, or does that include old buildings off other faiths? So to let everybody know, Audra and I do not attend church, but we are very faithful people. And the reason I don't attend church, I'm going to be blunt, it's nothing against churches or any certain faiths.
Religion, right.
We're spiritualists. We don't believe in, my true belief is God church is outside. I could stand on top of a building. I could stand on top of a building. I could step on top of a mountain, and that's where I praise God. That's God's church, right? So we don't attend church. So certain faiths don't have anything to do with it. It's any place where I feel we praised a higher power and then left the building empty.
So it's more Christianity.
It's more Christianity based, but yeah, I wouldn't, to answer her question directly, I probably would not go into any faith, no matter what faith it was. If it's like an old synagogue or anything, like anywhere where they left God behind and closed the doors and just left it open. And that's just me. It's a superstition.
Well, now we had cases, even here in Minnesota, we have cases where there's ghost towns where there's nothing left in the town, where once it was booming, right? And the only thing that's standing is the church.
Mm-hmm.
And what about one like that? The whole town just left, not just the church. The whole town shut down. So
it'd be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to church, but I'd like to investigate the town.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good point. Okay, good point. All right. Yeah, there's a few towns I might have to take a drive out just to see what it feels like,
Yeah.
But again, I'd have to do it on my own if I'm going to do that, and that's going to be challenging to do that. But then again, I drove all the way across the country twice to go to different things by myself. So, well, with the exception of the YouTube audience.
Yeah.
But Rockstar. I can't remember where he's at exactly, but he's somewhere. He's a longtime caller. Andy Morrow is the guy that did my website for me. Wow. That I was telling you about before.
And I think Lady V had asked earlier how we met. It was Lady V. It was not during an investigation. We actually met. Our sons played baseball together.
I was actually their coach.
Getting back to your question from a long time ago.
I'm glad you guys are watching.
It might be on delay a little bit for us
Yeah.
because we're watching all the other ones go through, but
and force of habit.
yeah, that's where
On delay, that's good though with me, because if it's on delay and you're finally saying it, that means we're catching up somehow. Any special event you have coming up? There you go. Well, you mentioned the documentary that you got coming up. That's
that's the Static.
That's the Staticom. That's Tony, Cherie, Ron, and Lourdes.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
all
anything
them.
for you then? Anything for you?
No, for us, we mainly stick around North Carolina. We were just at the Gettysburg Bash with Ron and Lourdes. We're really excited. Tony and Cherie will be moving to North Carolina from Phoenix by October, which is exciting for us.
Can't wait.
We've known Tony and Cherie for a long time. We used to run Phelps Dodge Mining Hospital with them, the old Copper Canyon Paranormal Research Center in Ajo, Arizona. You guys have probably seen it on Destination Fear and Ghost Hunters. We used to investigate that with Tony and Cherie all the time. We met them doing an investigation in Tombstone, Arizona. We've known them for years. They're great close friends of ours, and they're finally moving out to the East Coast. So we don't have anything major coming up. Audra and I pretty much stick to around the house. I mean, if we didn't have to work, we'd probably be more involved. But that whole career thing just gets involved with you have to have damn money to pay your bills.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just ruins everything. But
yeah,
but we do have an 1830s plantation home in Mount Gilead, North Carolina, that we control investigations at. It's a very great place. We catch a lot of stuff there. We've had multiple groups come in. Piedmont Paranormal from up in the Winston-Salem, North Carolina area. I've done it multiple times. I mean, it's a great place. We control that, and all the money we make from investigations there goes right back to the Historical Society to help maintain the home.
There you go.
So we do a lot of that, and then we go out and do investigations here. We do about 4 major investigations a year between the two of us.
Yeah, some local personal ones, residential. We'll go help PPIT a lot. They'll ask us to go with them, which is kind of nice. So we'll go up north. Ufi also had, I know Yolanda's questions up, but Ufi had one. Our favorite local site is obviously the one that we run, Ufi,
Montgomery
which is
House.
the Montgomery House. So if you're ever in the area, come on down.
Yeah, come on down.
Love to have you.
So Yolanda, why is it that people say the cemetery or graveyards are not haunted? Because when someone is buried in a priest says prayers, but others say they are haunted. And why is that? We've done multiple cemeteries.
Love the cemeteries. I
believe that. So anybody that's ever seen our podcast, and some of the people watching have, Entity Voices, Paranormal Evidence, I believe in consciousness and free will. I don't believe that anybody is trapped. I don't believe that most spirits or most entities are trapped. I believe you can come and go as you want. You're allowed to. A ghost bat boy hit Chris over the head like Cupid. That's right. But I think it was Audra, actually.
It only took 2.
It only took 2 hits. Yeah, I got a pretty hard head. I believe that spirits can come and go. They can travel. They communicate as they wish. I do believe that cemeteries can be haunted. I disagree with the people that say cemeteries aren't. And here's one of my main reasons. So when somebody's buried and their loved one's upset and misses them, where do they go? They always go to their grave. They always go to their gravesite to speak to them, right?
Talk to them in the grave, yeah.
Right.
So if they're speaking to the people that they loved, and that's where they go to speak to them, where are those going to people show up? Where are they going to show up?
So at the graveyard or at the house, either one.
Right. So I believe people come and go as they wish, and if they choose to go where they're buried, then they choose to go where they're buried. I specifically don't want to be planted in the ground.
Yeah, and it can also be not so much that they're, everybody uses the word trapped. I don't know that it's trapped either. Maybe confused. Maybe that's just that last place that they really recognize, and that's just where they hang out.
Right.
Until they maybe gain that free will, like understanding where that they can come and go. And then they maybe start to roam a little bit more. But
right.
also that, yeah, exactly, great point. These entities are at their grave sites because that's where their loved ones are constantly going.
And then I might have a question for you then. And I'm going to give a little secret about my house. Okay, that's why I wanted you to investigate or remote view it. I'll tell you a little something about it and maybe spark your interest. I have activity in this house. Now, I'm more of a skeptic on every angle of whatever you want to talk about, UFOs or aliens or whatever, but I do believe in things that are, there's something going on that we don't understand. And I do believe that I have activity in my house that I cannot explain. It doesn't frighten me. There was only one time when I saw a shadow man and I told it to leave, and it left. And thank goodness, because I didn't like the way he felt. But the everyone else that I've seen in the house or sensed in the house, I haven't had any negative issues with him or with them. So Maureen did a remote view of my house. I had actually probably 4 different women that did a remote view of my house. Julie's one of them. Lady V's one of them.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then Maureen did one. Tanya Medea, if you know who she is. Uh, we were working together on working on getting my third eye active, which I think it worked. It did. But anyway, um, uh, they all said they saw the same things that I was seeing here, and yeah, you got this guy here, you got that guy here, and I didn't tell them about one thing purposely. But then Tanya actually saw the boy. There's a 10-year-old boy that runs around the house. I don't know why, but he'd sit there and tap me on my shoulder and make me look on either side to see who's doing that, And of course he'd be
Oh,
laughing.
funny.
Yeah, he'd be laughing as he's doing that, and then I'd hear him, and then he'd run off. But not with the recorder. I'd hear him with my ears.
Oh,
Okay.
Hmm.
And so I could hear the footsteps with the ears, and that's not imagination.
right.
Yes, I do. I do take medication, but that's not what it is. I'm
Not what
awake.
it's for. Not what it's for.
I'm awake. I'm awake, and I'm aware, and I understand what I'm hearing and seeing, and I'm trying to communicate with them on a metaphysical form of communication by doing uh, astral travel, which I
Hmm.
do automatically. I don't know if anyone else believes that, but we all travel at night when we go to sleep. I don't care who it is. I don't
Hmm.
care if you believe it or not. We all go somewhere at night. Okay, we don't need a ship to go there. We just go there. Where do your dreams come from? When you go to sleep and you dream of something, where do those dreams come from? Especially if it's of something that you've never been to before. Where does that come from? Okay. I've been on other planets that I can't explain why. And I'm not trying to make things up. This is what happened. I can describe the planet to you. One that I can describe clearly. I was on this amethyst. You know what amethyst crystal is? Purple crystal.
Mhm.
Clear. When the light hits it, it looks really pretty and it shines right through just like a diamond, but it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine having a planet. You have 2 suns, which this would not be, probably not be possible at all scientifically. But in my dream, I was there.
Hmm.
I was on the surface of this planet, all with the jagged amethyst crystal coming out of the surface of the planet. 2 suns, or circling each other, and the planet in the middle. The light was coming through the purple crystal or the amethyst, and it was so beautiful there. Right? I saw 2 people off to a distance that I recognized, but as always, I couldn't remember the name. Okay, I'm really bad with some names. I might remember you, your face. I know you guys obviously, but like I say, I have people in town sometimes here, and I don't know who the hell they are. It's like
Hmm.
I don't say I don't know who they are, but I just act like hi, how you doing, and I just go on my way and not worry about it. But those 2 in my travels, I said hi to them. They said hi back. I didn't know who they were. No names were exchanged at the hello greeting. Um, my guide that I was with in this vision, or I call it a vision, kind of, and he said, touch the crystal. And he said, it's okay, you can touch the crystal. Basically, when I touched the crystal, I came back and I woke up.
Wow.
My guide was bringing me back, making sure I got back here. Now, I don't know why I had a dream like that. I have no clue. Someone was sending me a message. Okay. I have a little phrase I use. I have a phrase I use called eternal existence. Okay. What I mean by that is that we are human souls or human spirits. If everybody understands that we all have an energy source inside of us, which I classify as being a human spirit, our soul. Okay. Look in the book of Genesis and the creation. I don't mean to get religious or anything like that, but just for clarification, I have to make sure that everyone's on the same page, and I'm not making this up. God created Adam out of the dirt, which God is God. He can do it any way he wants. He can snap his fingers and make whoever he wants. But he created Adam out of the earth so that he's part of the planet. Okay, so that he's part of the planet. Adam came from up there, though, up in heaven.
Okay.
Okay. God breathed the breath of life into the body, and he became a living soul, according to the story. You know the story.
Oh yeah.
And then God named him Adam. Now, first of all, of course, God can name anybody anything. Okay, he's creator after all. He can do anything he wants. Jesus Christ, or whoever you want to say is creator, the one who made Adam. He can call him anything he wants, but he named him Adam.
Okay.
Where did you get that name from? Okay, in heaven, where all the human souls are, there's a giant vault. Like a bank vault. Giant vault where all the souls are in there. Okay. When God needs a soul for a human life, he grabs one out of there, puts it into the person that's having a baby, and bam, there you got life. Tell me that doesn't happen, and explain how. but it sounds as good as anything else, right?
Right.
So when he created Adam, he became a living soul. So Adam came from eternity. Human souls were created at the time of the universe, slightly about the same time as the angels. Okay, you had the space that God created, then you had the angels, then you had human souls, possibly at the same time, maybe. But God says we're made higher than the angels. Okay? Because of who we are in his we're in his image, right?
Okay.
So that's why we're higher than the angels. But yet we need to ask the angels for help, and we need help for fighting because in our human state we're not all that powerful necessarily. But in our soul state, in our eternal existence state, up there we're very powerful. Okay. We were already had eternal life, but now we come to earth to do whatever we're doing, for whatever purpose we're here for. If it's to figure out the spirituality of things, maybe. Is it to figure out how to reconnect with God who created us? Yes, I think so. Kind of all connected in that way. And I'm not trying to change anybody's mind or preach anything different or anything like that. Just, look at the stories in the Bible, or if you want to go to any kind of religious book, it don't matter. Go ahead and look at that, about the existence of the human soul, and you'll see that it comes from up there. Okay? And that's all I'm saying. Eternal existence, I think that we've been here, we're all kind of, we just say old souls, what some would say.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard that term before?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think we're all kind of old souls. We just don't want to admit it most of the time. So I think if we just, stop being so selfish with our own personal views, when we open up to other people's ideas, we might actually get somewhere. And that's the same thing with the ghost hunting stuff, or the spirit hunting or spirit research. I call it a spirit research, actually. I don't like the term ghost hunting, as some people mentioned. It's just really strange. I don't hunt. I don't hunt animals, and I wouldn't want to hunt spirits either. necessarily. Uh, I would hunt. I would hunt animals if I had to eat. I would definitely say that. Um, but what is Hoopy
But
saying here?
to go back to what you're talking about, Ron, where you said we've all got to respect each other's views, and I agree with you completely. We have to respect each other's views. We have to respect everybody's beliefs, and the reason why is because none of us have the answers.
That's right. And I think we can all learn. We can all learn from each other. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And what we need to understand. Okay, and I just hit that one. Okay, there we go. Hit it twice. Um, yeah. But in my house, though, I have the boy that runs around and plays tag with me, and I talk to him once in a while, and he doesn't really answer back. But it's funny when I ask him to pay rent. When I ask all the spirits here, hey, how about if you guys pay rent? And they just laugh. I actually hear them laughing at me, like, oh, you can't make us pay rent. We're not going to. And so it's funny, and I think they have a sense of humor because they're not hurting me or nothing like that. So
No.
I'm not trying to destroy them or to send them away or nothing like that. And perhaps I'm entertaining them. Perhaps I don't know. But the point of the matter is, I think you have to be friendly. If you're not friendly, you're going to find something that you don't want. If you show negativity, you're going to attract negativity.
So, Ron, do you have dormer windows in your home?
Do I what?
Dormer windows. Do you know what a
Like
dormer
they
window is?
stick out a little bit at the top.
You have a
They
pitch of
almost
a
look-
roof, and then
yeah.
you have a flat facing window that also has its own roof on it.
No,
You don't
I
have
have
dormer?
I have upstairs. There's the bedroom roof,
Yes,
and then you have the flat window. So it's like this.
to the front of your house.
Yeah, this would be the front, looking out to the street.
Okay,
But there's no overhang like you're saying.
right.
There might have been at one time.
You have two windows like this on the front of the house.
They're straight. They're
Upstairs or
in
downstairs?
yeah. They're on the lower level, and upstairs the bedroom windows.
So you've
Yep.
got two upstairs bedroom.
Yeah.
Do they have a roof above them, like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
We're sensing a teenage boy.
You got an older teenage boy
He
there.
stands in the west window, or no, the east.
Wow.
East window. I'm looking at the front of your
Okay.
house. I'm seeing a dormer window. He looks out this window.
Okay. Interesting.
From
Now,
the street. So if you're
Yeah.
facing your house from the street, I see a front door.
I'll tell you what.
Window. There's a teenage boy that stands in this window and looks out.
That is interesting because my neighbor's dog Avatar. He's kind of a pit bull, pit bull and lab mix or whatever. He's a pretty good sized dog, but he's old. He's not gonna hurt you. He's not an angry dog anyway. Just like to jump up on you and play, and things like that. But if you're not expecting that, he'll knock you over. He's a good sized dog. But he's careful with that too, because some people don't tolerate that. So he's very smart. But he would come over to my front yard and look around because he's so used to being over here with the old lady that lived here. She didn't really yell at him or nothing. So anyway, he didn't think about me being here. But I was sitting there in my chair watching outside the door, and I saw him look up to the upstairs. So he saw the boy in the window. I'm positive. Because he looked upstairs like he saw something.
Mhm.
And it wasn't me making noise. I was watching him being still, And like, why is he looking upstairs? And I think when I seen him look, I could have swore I heard something like something dropped or whatever, like noise, some kind of noise. Now, in the basement, I have an old man. I believe his name is Samuel. I call him that because I think the boy's name is Sammy Jr. or Sam Jr., Samuel Jr., but Sammy. Okay, but the dad or the man's name is Samuel. he smokes a pipe with cherry tobacco. I've
Really?
smelled cherry tobacco in the house. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Now in the basement, I do have cherry wood. You know, like the oak cherry, like you were mentioning on the one show. And
Yeah.
anyway, this is 1945 house. That's when it was around 1945, I think. So I'd have to look at the exact date, but just thinking about that. So, but the land is very much older than
Mm-hmm.
the land is much older than the whole houses, of course. In Jeffers, we have the historic site called the petroglyphs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
very
have
indigenous area. Yeah.
they are anywhere from 7 to 10,000 years old. So anyone could be, you know, hanging out here at the house. I don't know. Um, but what I usually see is people from the early 1900s. Okay,
Interesting.
like the old man, he builds either furniture or toys. I'm not sure, depending on the time of year, perhaps. But he works with wood a lot, and he's down there hammering all the time. I hear him hammering, and like, could you shut?
You know what you do, Ron? You take your broken shit down there and see if he'll fix it.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna make all that noise, buddy. Fix some shit while you're down there.
I'll tell you something. The funny thing was, one day I was sitting up here in my chair, and I heard a loud door slam down in the basement. Now I don't have any doors down there to slam. So I go down there, like those giant French doors that are really heavy,
Yeah.
Sounded like they slammed them shut and just rattled the whole house from the basement. So I
Wow.
go running down the stairs to see what was going on. There's no door down there to slam. And I'm trying to figure out how can that happen, And everybody can make up some kind of excuse why that would happen. But the point of the matter is, I heard it, physically heard it. It wasn't imagination. And then I had seen one woman I helped get home to get crossed over. I didn't do it, but I sent her to someone who could, and it was someone that already visited the house doing a remote view, and they actually seen the woman, but they didn't get a name. But in the second part of that story, when I sent the woman to that person I'm talking about, then that person got the name of the woman, and who I did my little app on my phone that reads the names of everyone that's in the house, right? And the interesting thing is the name came up, Sarah. Came up on the app, and my friend said that her name was Sarah. Now I didn't tell my friend about the name that was on the app.
Wow.
But my friend said, "Oh, her name was Sarah," and I helped her get home because she asked to get help to get home. Now what was interesting was the old man went with Sarah to the woman I'm talking about that did that, and the old man came back though. He didn't want to have nothing to do with going back yet. So, like you said, I think they have free will. And I think whoever they are, they have free will. So if they were demons, I don't think they would have free will, right? If they were demons. Well, if they were demons, I don't think they would have free will. They would be locked into a contract deal to stay where they are.
They're controlled, like there's.
And they're under control of whoever. And where the spirits that we're dealing with on the human side, we have opportunities to possibly improve or change where we are heading, in other words. Now, once we're done with our process and we can't change that heading anymore, then we're stuck where we're going. So, for instance, like heaven or hell, if you're in the book of life, then you're going to heaven and you're good to go, no problem. If you're not in the book of life, then you might have a problem.
So I got a question for you, Ron. I got a question for you. Do you believe once we go to heaven, we never come down?
I personally can't answer that, except the fact that I think that, personally, I believe I'm from the future, but that's my personal opinion. And if anyone's watching this thinking I'm crazy, you might be right. But anyway, but when I have dreams of traveling to planets or visions of traveling to planets that I don't know where that is, why would I know that planet? in the first place. And we're just discovering exoplanets all over our galaxy. We're just now discovering them.
No, there's more than that out there.
I know that. I know
And
that.
what we're not.
And so I believe, first of all, for myself, I think that I don't believe in reincarnation as it's stated. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm not saying anyone that believes in it is wrong. I don't believe that either. But in my personal opinion, the term reincarnation, the way that I see it, again, my term of eternal existence, that would solve the reincarnation issue. You don't really get reincarnated. You just continue to exist, maybe in another life, in another lifetime. See, on the timeline of things, I've been in the future and I've been in the past. All right. Now, I don't know how to explain that. So I think with your question, I believe that we can go from one point to the other point. I don't think we can go to the bad point if we don't belong there, which would be hell. But I do think we can go from heaven to earth. We can go back and forth. We can go all through the whole universe. And it's by a thought. You can just go, oh, I want to go to Jupiter. Bam, we're there. You know, I want to go to see where the aliens are coming from. Bam, we're there. You know, and so I think in the eternal part of being in heaven, we're going to have that opportunity to do that. Okay. Now, that might be totally against anything any preacher will tell you. You know,
Oh yeah.
But except for maybe Michael Carter, he might agree with you. Right? He might agree with us on this one. But I like Michael. He's a good guy. You know who he is, I think. But I remember an earliest point of my existence in the human state has been around 850 AD. Okay.
Wow.
Now, what I believe is that we all are doing a job, whatever a job is, whether it's being a homemaker or I don't know if you work or not. I don't mean any offense by that term.
I do.
But if you know, my mom was an at-home mom. She didn't have a job. She did art. Her passion was art. So she was an artist, and so she went to art shows and maybe sold a painting or two, but she didn't really make a whole lot of money. My dad did all the work and probably had two jobs and all that kind of stuff, you know. And anyway, in your case, though, Chris, you had military, you had law enforcement, you had construction, what you're in now.
Correct.
I think all three of those things you were designed to do from the beginning. Okay? So you're in all of your existence, in all of your times that you've been here, this isn't the only time you've been here. All right.
I agree with you on that.
This is right now is the present time that you're here now. I can't remember how old you said you were.
50.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, in this timeline, you're only 50 years old. Well, let's say outside of this timeline.
Okay.
For instance, when I went into the service, I went into the Navy, and I did that because my dad was in the Navy and my brother was in the Navy. And I thought, well, I don't want to break the chain or the line or whatever, you know. I'll just go to the Navy and see how it works out. Unfortunately, with me, I thought they had too many head games, and I said 4 years is it, and I'm out. You know. And I did get my honorable discharge, though, so I did that. That was my goal. But and my goal was to also serve the country, and a country that I love. You know.
Thank you for your
I still love the country. I just don't like how it's being ran right now, right at the moment. But I think that's been for quite a while recently. But in my case, though, I was a quartermaster, which is navigation. Okay, we always used to have a funny joke. We were the only ones that could tell the captain where to go. Of course, we'd usually get in trouble. We quoted that out loud. So, but the captain usually had more years than anybody on the ship, you know. But I was a captain or a navigator, not a navigator, it's navigator on one of those old sail ships, and I remember that. I'll tell you what happened. Tanya Medea was getting her certification on regression therapy. You know what regression therapy is?
Yep.
Now, she did a live regression therapy on her husband, Joey Medea, on air, on their show, Into the Outer Realms, okay, on Facebook Live. It might still be available on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. But Tanya did a regression session with Joey. Now, Joey went back to the same time where I was at. I was a navigator on the ship. Joey was on the pier. I had the same memory what Joey was remembering from his regression. I was being regressed at the same time, not even trying that.
Oh, wow.
And what I'm saying is I remembered the story like I was there, and I wasn't making it up. I remembered the story like I was there.
Wow.
Okay? But I was the officer. I was navigator on the ship.
Wow.
You have the captain, you have the XO, you have the navigator, right? In the steps of things. So basically, without the navigator, you can't run your ship. You know, you have to have a navigator on the ship. And according to Joey's story, what Tanya was telling him, she was saying that he was trying to, I think he was trying to stay off the ship. He was picketing to stay off the ship or whatever. And at that time, Joey, as a kid, his dad was fighting to let younger people be on the ship so that they can get the workers to help, right? Something about that with the whatever they're doing, going to Africa and stuff like that. And the point that I'm saying all this for is that I was a navigator then. I was on the surface Navy ship then. In 1980, I'm on a surface Navy ship, and I'm a quartermaster. I'm not a navigator, but still navigation, right? I was trained to do that job, whether I like it or not. Okay?
Right.
So all through my existence, whether it was in the past 850 AD or in the 19 or in the what time would that be? 1600s, 1700s, yeah, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Thinking about that. See, I get so mixed up on the times. That's why I get so mad at time zones all the time. And but with the imagined century, trying to figure out what century you're in, you know.
Maybe that's why you took that wrong turn going to Gettysburg.
There you go. I told you about that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening to the navigation thing on the car and it said, go left. And I looked at the sign, it said west. And I knew, or yeah, it said east, whatever. Yeah, I was supposed to go east, I think. And I thought it said go left. And I went west instead of east. And I go back 40 miles or whatever it was, 20 miles, whatever, to the next exit because they're in construction zone. So what a pain in the neck that was. But lesson well learned.
Oh, yeah.
Pay attention to your eyes, and eventually the navigation will get back to normal. But one time when I went back to when I was going to Bill's to Pine Bush, and I was going down to meet Charles down in Ohio, and for some reason I went the wrong way, and Andy had me on the map locator where I was at. And he said, you're going in a square around Charles' house. Andy was so mad at me at that moment.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was laughing at the same time, but he was mad at me. He said, you went around this house like 2 times already. Come on. Oh, boy. And then one time, let's see, not this year, but the year before, when the highway splits, 80 goes straight into New York, and 84 goes north or whatever. 84, and you go up north to northern New York. Well, I went the wrong way. I went way up, and this is at nighttime again. So I don't drive at night anymore when I'm on those trips. I drive only daytime driving. I figured that out now. Daytime driving, as long as I get to the next hotel that I have reserved, and I know where that is, I can get there, daytime driving. I go to sleep when it's daylight. Then I get up early in the morning and I go. and I get there and with plenty of rest. I don't have to worry about having to see at night or nothing like that.
Right.
And of course, that's probably not a good way to witness any kind of weird stuff. But I don't know if I want to see any weird stuff in the middle of the night. That's just kind of weird. So, but anyway, in this year before this year, I went up way up northern New York. I was in a place called Binghamton, New York. If you know where that's at?
No.
Way up northern New York.
Okay.
And to get back down to Bill's house in Newburgh, 4-hour drive. If you know where you're going.
New York's not
4-hour
big,
drive.
is it?
Yeah. And I'm driving down in the middle of the night, not knowing where I'm going. I had 10 people on the live stream, YouTube live stream, driving, and they're all telling me which way to go, how to go. People was helping with gas money because gas was so darn expensive at the time. And they were all helping with gas money, and that was awesome. So, and then when I was going home, I ran out of gas money, actually, and Kathy, one of our faithful listeners on Bill's channel, says, "Oh, we can't leave him stranded there. We got to get him home." So
That's funny.
gotta love the communities, that we're all involved in. And just remember that we're all a community. We're not a competition. Let's all work together and get the same message out there, and
Right.
Yeah.
try to help each other understand what we're dealing with. Now, let me see. I had about at least 2 more questions, I thought. No, I
I think you
forgot.
had one earlier about if it was okay to ask a metaphysical question. Of course it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
We love metaphysical questions.
Okay, now which one is it? Okay. Oh, Ufi has it there. Okay.
It was up a bit.
Oh. I don't know. I lost track of that. But
I like this question from Yolanda. Past life regression, is it the same as deja vu? Well, there's only one person that can answer that, and he's upstairs. We'll all get a chance to talk to him eventually, but I'm not in a hurry. I love God, but I'm not in a rush to meet him. I can give you my theory on deja vu. I don't know if it's correct. It's just my personal theory. So Ron touched base on God sending souls down to earth to be placed in newborns to begin a new life down here. I totally believe that God gives us a path, and God chooses the path for our life that would bring us back to Him, and He shows us that path before He sends us down here.
Yeah.
And as we go through life, we make choices that take us off of that path. My personal belief is when we come back to the path that God has chosen for us and that He showed us before He put us on earth, that's when a deja vu moment happens. That's why you feel like, God, I've been here before. I've seen this before. I believe that God showed us the path that He had chosen for us. He placed us on earth, and then our free will and decision we make those choices throughout life. If we stay directly on that path and eventually get to the kingdom of heaven with God, or we stray off of that path, depending on decisions that we make. But every time we come back and reconnect with that past, I feel that's what deja vu is. That is my personal experience. That's my personal belief.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then Lourdes had a question. Any planned investigations at the Montgomery house? That's for both of you.
Well, no, we don't have any planned investigations going on there, but we do have Piedmont Paranormal up north. When they bring on new investigators with their group, they've got a pretty good sized group up there. They get a lot of investigations. Anytime they bring on a new investigator, they're going to bring them to the Montgomery house to give them their first paranormal experience or paranormal investigation experience. So we've got that coming up. We've got a couple friends at the local tavern that we go to that want to do an investigation. We promised we'd take them. Tony and Cherie met them when they were down here in North Carolina. It's the 2 little bartenders that serve us every week when we go in there. Kayla and Crystal. Yeah, Kayla and Crystal. We'll be taking those 2 down within the next month or 2 to do an investigation on that Montgomery house. And then I'm waiting for Scott from Piedmont Paranormal to give me a call or to reach out to me. There is he sent us a video. He sent us
Scott
a great,
Yeah.
Scott Riddick. He sent us a great video that a friend of his sent where they actually caught an apparition on their cameras outside walking through their yard. Great video. I'm not going to show it to you.
No,
It's his
not
video.
on
It's not mine to show.
No,
But
that's fine. We'll have him on the show too. That's all right. We'll get these guys
Yeah.
on there.
fantastic video. He sent me the video and asked my thoughts on it, and it was a good friend of his. He let me do a remote read of the property, and I told him I was picking up Native American. There's a farm across the street. I also told him that I was I also told him that I was feeling that it had something to do with the farm across the street. It was very indigenous, and what was great is I did a remote view and I used a Google map, and behind the farm there's a creek that runs back there behind the farm, and it's probably about 30-40 acres back behind the farm. There's an outcropping of black rock formations.
Oh.
And when I reached out to Scott, I told him that I was picking up that there was something to do with the rock formation. Well, he actually reached out to the farmer and got permission to investigate the property, and also found out that those rocks at the back of the property about 50 years ago were brought from up North Carolina from the Cherokee Nation up there. So yeah. I hit it pretty damn good, and so he asked if we wanted to be a part of it. So I'm waiting for him to give me the go, and then we'll be an investigation with Piedmont Paranormal.
Jan Rackabetti come up with a new one there.
Ron's an awesome dude.
Yeah. So now I had another thought I wanted to share with you. One, before I forget, I want to tell you what happened in my room after you guys all left on Saturday night. Right?
Oh, can you broadcast that on here?
Yeah. maybe not that part, but I'll tell you. But, no, okay. So I'm watching. I usually, when I have at home, for instance, I have 2 computers on right now, and I have TV on. Okay. I like all the energy that I'm getting from this. Okay. And I have my little light on over here until 1 o'clock when it goes out. But I have all the TV and the computers on. And I get this energy from the screen, probably causing me cancer, but oh well, what the hell. Anyway, we're talking about paranormal and I say, what the hell, right? What kind of deal is that? The TV's bright enough by itself in a hotel room, okay?
Okay.
I'm sitting on my computer, looking at a movie or whatever, watching the TV because it's on and it's a bright light. And I have, I think, one light on and the other lights are off. But I noticed a black shadow. Maureen mentioned a black mist at one point in her story last night when she was talking about what Bobby Gallo, or whatever. Yeah. She mentioned a black mist. And the funny thing is, in my hotel room, after everybody left, there was a black mist that passed in front of the TV because I saw it dim. The TV itself didn't dim, but the light from it dimmed, which could only happen if something went in front of it. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So unless there's an electrical problem, then it would just go out. It wouldn't dim.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it didn't. It was bright as ever, and all of a sudden it just like dimmed, and then I saw the kind of a dark smoke or haze or fog or whatever, and then it went up into the corner and disappeared. And I didn't feel anything negative about that. It was just like, what the hell was that? And I didn't think anything about it. It didn't really scare me. Again, that's one thing you don't want to show fear in any situation.
No, but being in Gettysburg, it's probably not an uncommon thing considering all the tragedy that happened in that area. I mean, there's
yeah. So who that was? Yeah.
No way to tell. You can feel when you pull into Gettysburg. You can feel the energy.
Yeah, and when I did the driving tour, I kind of felt weird too, like a negative sense, about that, And anyway, then the other thing I saw was on the total opposite. I saw white sparkly or silver sparkly light in the corner, like crystal sparkly type light in the corner of the room, and it just faded out and went away. But it was like, that had to be positive if the negative was black. And I don't mean anything to anybody or anything negative to anyone, for the nationality. If the usually we associate black cloud with negativity. Okay, so if the negativity was the black cloud and then white light or the sparkly light, almost like silver, was the good light. That came in after was that chasing the black cloud out?
I don't
Well,
necessarily believe that the
Yeah.
color of the energy that you see is negative or bad. That comes from what you feel. I mean, it's just it could be
yeah,
different forms of manifestation. It doesn't necessarily mean
interesting.
that
Yeah,
negative.
then the other thing is, in that hotel, you can hear all the noises down the hall. You can hear doors closing. You can hear people maybe in other rooms if they're loud. But you know where the sound's coming from when you hear it. Am I right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so in my room, I'm sitting there with my headphones on, listening to my music, trying to work on some playlist that I'm working on, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I heard a knock on my door. Wasn't the next door. It was my door. You can tell when it's your door.
Right.
Okay. I heard the knock on my door. I said, just a minute. I get up, which is not an easy thing for me to do after that, after Friday night. And I get up and walk over the door, open up, and there's nobody there. Not even in the hallway. Look down the hallway, go down to where the elevators are, look down the big long hallway, nothing there. But there was a knock on my door. And you guys, everyone from that we knew already left to their next, wherever they're going. And the point is, who was that was trying to knock on my door for whatever reason?
Interesting.
And it didn't scare me. And then Andy might like this one if he's still here. I had a vibrating bed and they didn't even put the quarter in and just vibrating by itself. That was weird.
Okay, now I'm a little mad because we didn't get the vibrating bed. I had a whole roll of quarters ready for that thing.
You didn't get that vibrator. I got the only room with the vibrator. Just remember, 356. That's the room you want.
Wow. Did you pay extra for that? That's crap. I feel screwed.
I paid a lot of money for my room though. I don't know what you paid, but I paid a lot of money. I had to pay my life savings almost. Holy crap! But it was worth it though. I enjoyed the event. I had a lot of fun. I got to meet you guys. I got to meet Coach Ron and Lourdes again.
Yep.
And Anthony and Maureen, of course. They're always fun to be around. And got to meet her husband. I got to meet Maureen's husband, who I always
Yeah,
hear
Tom.
about. Yeah, I always hear about. I never. First time I get to meet him. And a lot of the answers I got was, "Oh, you're the radio guy." Oh yeah. And like I said to you, Chris, I said, you look taller than you do on it.
Well, yeah, I'm sitting down.
Yeah, right now we're all the same height. Lourdes, hi, Lourdes. Anthony's on here like 3 times. What's going on?
Yeah, he switched to Seekers.
Oh, he's trying to keep. Yeah,
We still
I
know
got-
who you are, Anthony.
yeah. I got my 3 names on. 'Cause I'm signed on 3 different places. So I got Facebook, YouTube, my other Facebook page, and then Errt Radio shows. Actually, so I got 4 places, and then Trovo too. So now here's a thought I had. I've been working on this thought really quick, and it's probably getting pretty late for you guys, huh? So we'll wrap it up here pretty soon.
Yeah, about 11:15.
All right. So here's a question I have about you, or about this situation. I came up with a phrase a while back.
Okay.
The phrase that I came up with when I first moved to this house, actually, and I realized some things were happening, and I didn't understand why. I have a phrase that I use that I never heard anyone else use until I started using it. And it's funny when you use a phrase and nobody knows about your phrase, but then you hear somebody else use the phrase and you're like, wait a minute. How did that happen?
What phrase is that?
Time differential.
Yeah. Who else used it?
I heard it on another radio show, talk show, that somebody used it to describe something. But here's what I use it for. Time differential. All right.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple of ideas that have happened with me. Now, I'm driving to Wyndham. It's a 30-minute drive from my house to Wyndham.
Okay.
Good night, Andy. Good night, Andy, and whoever else that might be leaving. Or hello.
Hi, Lady V.
Yeah.
Giovanni just stepped in, or Giuseppe just stepped in. Hey,
Oh, good.
Giuseppe.
Okay. So I'm driving to town, and we have 2-lane highways here. We don't have big highways here. We got cornfield highways, 2 lanes. And I lived in North Carolina for 9 years, so I know how your area is in the traffic area. I've never been in a small place like this, living in a small place like this where there are 2 lanes, like all the way to town. There's just 2 lanes all the way. And so I'm driving down past cornfields and all the normal stuff that I see, and I see this car coming down the road towards me on the left-hand side, coming towards me, right? And there's no way for him to turn, no place for him to go, but he never passes me. He just vanishes. And I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, wait, now what just happened? Did I just black out, or did I'm still driving? I'm still driving. I'm fine. I didn't wreck. I'm still on the road going straight, and that car just vanished. Now I watched a story on YouTube where the cops were chasing a car, and I think this was in North Carolina that this happened. The cops were chasing the car, and it just vanished right through the fence. And
Really?
the cops are standing looking, where did that car go? It's called a ghost car, is what it's called, a ghost car. And you can look that up. Look up the that name, ghost car. There's another thing that I had happen here. I'm driving to town again, minding my own business, and there's a pickup that's behind me. He's going faster than I am, and I'm thinking he's either going to hit me or pass me. But he doesn't do either. He just vanishes, gone. He doesn't turn off anywhere. There's nowhere to turn off. You got cornfields, you got a ditch, and there's no place for it to turn off. And the car just vanishes, gone. Now, I heard a story about here in Minnesota, there is an old truck in certain locations of Minnesota that will follow you, and then it will disappear. That is a documented story that people have documented.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about all that. Again, I'm skeptical, but yet it's happened to me, and I watched it happen. The first week I was here, I walked into the bank, my town bank here, to get $100 out of my account for the casino. I love playing the slots, but I don't do it very often because I don't want to get addicted to it, so to speak. So I'm cautious with how often or how much I do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And but I usually do win when I play the slots and I walk out of the place with money in my pocket. I know the casino always wins. I get that, but
And they weren't built on winners.
yeah. But in this case here, I had my friend Mike with me, and he was in the front seat of the car, and I go into the bank. I don't know what I'm doing, talking to the teller, or what I'm talking about, or whatever. I get the $100. I walk out of the bank, and Mike is like, he's sitting in the front seat and said, "Oh, did you get the money for the casino?" Like I wasn't even gone. And I didn't remember what I said to the teller or what we talked about for 15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Or however long it was, maybe 30 minutes, even 15 minutes at least, I think. But anyway, I checked my pocket. Yeah, I got $100. Let's go. We're good to go. I didn't worry about it, but I wonder, I don't call that missing time because it's the same time, it's the same hour, same day, same everything, just something slipped.
I'd be more concerned of how long it took the teller to get you that $100.
Yeah, exactly. and with my account, my money, like what's going on there? But no, time differential is what I call that. Now here's my theory. And you heard things about parallel universes, parallel planets. We have another us on another planet, which I think is very possible. What if the possibility, when we have that brain slip or tip of the tongue episode, as Freud calls it, tip of the tongue, all right? That's a psychiatric term, matter of fact, But You can look it up, fact checkers, if you want. If you have that episode where you forget something and then you come back to the conversation, you're right back in time. Like sometimes when you're talking on your show, you all of a sudden forget a name, just like you just did when you're talking about the two bartenders. You forget that name just for a split second.
Right.
What if during that split second you change places with your other self on the parallel planet? And then he's going through the same thing, like, what the hell was I just talking about? And then you switch back, right? You switch back, and then you're back on track. And then oh yeah, that's what you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying talking to two different people in two different dimensions?
Yes.
Well, somebody's going to get the shit into the stick because you're going to leave somebody hanging.
I had my friend Dennis here in town. We were sitting at a breakfast thing that we had her on our town celebration weekend. We have a thing called Outlaw Days, and we have free breakfast and barbecue lunch and everything like that for the whole day. You can eat for the whole day and not go hungry. But anyway, he was talking about something and he completely forgot. And I explained that to him. And he's like 70 some years old, 76 I think. And I said, well, see, that's what just happened to you. Your other self took your thought from you. And now you're trying to figure out what you're saying. And he said, well, I'd like to find out what that thought was. We're going to have to get that. He didn't really argue with me about it. But
the best part of that, Ron, is what if your other self in the parallel dimension took your thought, spit it out in words, and it didn't make any sense to the conversation?
Right.
And the person that they were talking to would be going, what the hell are you talking about?
Yep. And that's the same thing, though. Whenever you have that episode, though, when you have the episode of forgetting someone's name, for instance, in real life, when you're talking to somebody and you can't remember their name, okay, you know their name, you know who they are, you just can't remember their name, just for some reason. Why is that? The moment that you forgot the name, no, the moment that you forgot the name, you're not there. You're on the other place. And they're, like I said, just like you're just saying, they're going through the same problem.
Well, all this that explains why I'm tired all the time, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah. Now, if you notice, have you ever woken up, aside from driving all the way you did? I don't know, how many hours did it take you from North Carolina?
About 7.5, 8.
Oh, that's not bad. See, now you got it easy. Without me getting lost, it was supposed to take 18. So, damn. And anyway, digging a ditch, or you've been working your upper body a lot and you're sore in your arms.
Yeah, but that's usually because Audra's beating the hell out of me for snoring.
And you're like fighting her off. Leave me alone. Trying to sleep. Leave me alone. Yeah, see, now I'm by myself when I have that trouble now. So maybe I'm gonna tell myself to quiet down. You're snoring too loud. Oh boy. Well, we had fun. See, we had fun just rambling on about absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice when we don't have a plan, right?
That's right.
What was Andy talking about in here? I'm not sure what he means.
Don't know what that means.
I thought he was going to sleep a little while back. I don't know. He probably got switched and they forgot he was going to go to sleep. See that?
Yeah. He was in that other dimension.
Yeah, there you go. But remember, time difference. When there was one more story about a clock, my old clock actually, and the clock that I replaced with my new Errt radio clock. That one's no sound, silent running, no ticking, and just go. You don't even know it's running except for the second hand. Amazing. So,
that's awesome.
But on the old clock though, battery doesn't plug in. It's sitting there on the wall, and I take my medication at a certain time. All right, in order for it to work long enough, I only sleep 4 hours a day. That's all. Medication or not, I only sleep. Actually, without medication, I sleep about 2 hours a day. My mind is always fixing these problems, working on things. And so I take my medication at a certain time where I get at least 4 hours sleep. Okay. So I'm looking at the clock. I'm thinking, oh, it's 2 o'clock. I better get my medication. I better get my medication now. So I look at the clock and I think, okay, wait a second. Okay, wait a minute. And I get my medication. Then I look at the clock and then it says 4 o'clock. Now it's too late to take medication. It's 4 o'clock. Then I look at it again and the clock changes again back to 2 o'clock. Now, I did not get up and change the clock. It changed on its own. It went back and forth like that. Let's see, it went from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 1, then 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. And it wound up eventually, the last time it was back on 2 o'clock. And that wasn't me imagining it. It was me seeing the clock change time. Now, that could be missing time, but I don't see how I could go backwards. That's why I call it time differential. Okay? So that could be even when you're being transported back and forth to the other dimension or the other planet, whatever. You're realizing, okay, wait a minute. There's a little bit, 2-hour difference here,
Interesting. Good.
So think about that, time differential. Then there was another phrase I used one time, and I heard the national or the guy on the local news station say the phrase. He must have listened to me on the radio when I said it. I would always say, when you're on the radio or on YouTube, you don't want to use the F word or you don't want to say bad words, So I came up I came up with a term. I said, "Holy buckets, Batman." I like that you wear the Batman symbol, I say, "Holy buckets, Batman." Of course, buckets have holes, right? Big hole on top. Holy buckets, Batman. So then the next thing I hear is a weatherman says it. And it's like, wait a minute, where did he hear that from? I got to start documenting this stuff like it's my phrase and I'm going to charge. Copyright it,
That's right. Put it on a hat.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Holy buckets, Batman. But remember that one. And better than cussing. Because then people like, what did you just say? Especially in an argument or something like that. And you say, holy buckets, Batman. And then, so just think about that one there. That's fun.
That's funny.
So now I got a couple of things I'm going to try in the house here. I got my REM pod that I bought from the guy that was selling the ones that look like a music box.
Yeah.
You seen those? That thing is really cool and it's sensitive too. Man, I tell you, I can't get within 2 inches of the antenna and think beeping like crazy. So you can imagine if a spirit is walking past, it's going to go off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
At least I hope so. But the bad thing in the hotel room, I was sitting there trying to go to sleep, and I kept hearing that thing beeping.
That's funny.
I have another one. I got one of the light stick things. The light stick things they had?
Yep.
I got one of those, and that thing is really sensitive, too. If you have it and you move, and you're within a few feet of it, you move, and it beeps, and it goes off. And so very sensitive. And so if a spirit moves past it, I got that sitting in the hallway where the mirror is, where I think the spirits are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not 100% sure that's where. And I don't really want to take the mirror down. I got it covered right now, but it's not protected with any holy water or anything like that. But someone suggests, well, why don't you take it down? I said, well, I don't really want to disturb. I don't want to make anybody mad, and they can find a new way in somewhere.
That's a leave it right mirror. Leave it right where it's at.
Yeah. Then they go ahead and get me,
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, on a positive note, though, my neighbor helped me burn my pile of wood I had in my fire pit, so that's good. Been wanting to burn that for a while, but every time I tried to burn it, the last time I tried to burn it, we had a fire warning days. Can't burn anything. Like, well, now how the fuck am I supposed? How am I supposed to burn that now? And then today, right when we lit the fire, it was going pretty good. Then the rain came. Like, oh, that's great. But it got rid of most of the wood there, so that's
Okay.
good. So now I got a nice clean fire pit to use for some other wood.
Nice.
So there was one other guy that's in the house, though, Chris. Besides the old guy in the basement. Now the old guy in the basement, he has a hat. He has a hat like 19
Says
maybe.
ERT.
No, I wish it did. I should give him one of mine. It's a rim hat, though. You know, like the round top and the hat, all rim all the way around. You know.
Yeah.
Top hat.
Top hat. Yeah.
Of like the 1925 or so, I guess, maybe. And then he had like on a vest, and he had on like work pants, you know, like brown work pants, and nice brown leather shoes. Not really work shoes, but not dress shoes either. Kind of casual. But he could go to church in that outfit that he has on, you know.
Wow.
And he has his pipe that he has in his mouth, you know. Not one of those not one of those corn pipes, you know, but the actual wooden pipe, really nice looking. Not the fancy English pipe either, just fancy fancy old town type pipe, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
And my brother used to collect pipes. I don't know if he still does. That's how I know about the cherry tobacco. But why would I smell cherry tobacco in the pipe? I did see a smoke come out of the couch, sitting on the couch, and a puff of smoke come out like from a cigar across the living
Wow.
room here. I actually saw that and I thought, okay, there's no smoking in here. Stop it. And I smelled the smoke too. That was weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But this guy, he has his hat and has his little vest on, like. And I remember one time the kid tapped me on the shoulders on each side, and I looked, and I didn't move. I just looked, and I felt someone like the old man maybe tapping me on the top of the head. You know, like "wake up, dummy," you know, or something like that. You know how old man would do that. You know, the grandpa would hit you on top of the head, like "wake up,"
Yeah.
and so that's like how he hit me, and it's like, wait a minute now. I ain't supposed to be feeling all of this, but yet I am. So,
Amazing.
but I only had one bad scratch that I know of on my arm that I can't figure out where it came from, and but it just all of a sudden I still have a bad scar. I showed. Who did I show that? Oh, I showed that to Brian M. Belden. You know him? Brian M. Bowden. Brian M. Bowden.
Mm.
You might know him. You've seen him there, I'm sure, but I don't know if you know who he is. But he's part of the Three Beards podcast with Craig Ansel and them.
Oh, okay.
And I showed him my scar, and he said, "Yeah, that's a pretty bad scar." And of course, it's been healed for about probably, let's say that was the second year I was here in 2018. So how many years is that? 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I got that scratch, and I don't know if this camera would pick it up, but anyway, it's pretty good scar that's left there, and I could probably show you some of the original pictures of the cut. If I can, when I find them, I'll send them to you. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And that just all of a sudden appeared like the first week of January of 2018. Now that was a pretty normal year for snow. There wasn't too much snow in January. I mean, there's snow all over the field, but not on the road, and it was still walkable. So we decided, oh, we're going to try to take a walk January 1st and walk from here up to Highway 71, which you have to walk down to Highway 30 and walk down Highway 30 all the way down to 71. And January 1st, whether there's snow on the road or not, it's friggin' cold. Okay,
Yeah.
so, but the sun was out, it looked nice and it looked warm, but the walk took a little longer than I thought. And I'm walking back and I can't get back to the house. And it's cold back then, the sun is setting. Like, now I can't move. And finally, one of the town ladies that I guess she knew where I lived at, she stopped and gave me a ride home. And so that was good of her. But I felt that scar on my arm or that cut. And I looked in it, and it was a deep cut. I don't know where it came from. I didn't do it myself. It was done from something. I don't know what. And if it was a nail from a door or from a door frame, my sleeve would have had evidence of it being cut. My, whatever, and there was no evidence of that being done.
Huh.
And it just all of a sudden appeared. And that's the only kind of negative thing that I've had that I could think of that would be done. That could have been the Shadow Man as I think about it, you know. But as I said, I sent them away, but I don't know if that was after that or before that. So I don't know. I kind of lose track. Again, that's part of that dimensional issue that we have, that we get sidetracked, you know. We can't remember dates. We can't remember hours. You know, if we try to remember something like, when did that happen and what happened there? And especially when we travel to all these different conferences, it does get confusing sometimes. All of our memories run together, you know.
Yep.
So, but that could be another thing where that happened on the other place, though, and then the mark came up on me, you know.
Yep.
If that's a connection of anything, you know, just think about that when something weird like that happens. But what I want you to do, Chris, and Audra, if it doesn't take up too much of your time, when you have an episode that you have a memory lapse that you don't understand and why you can't remember something, you know, and then I always tell people, oh, it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning when I remember. I'll give you a call when I get it. But write down when that happens, though, when you cannot remember something. And
what if I can't remember to write it down?
Then that would be a problem for the evidence. If you can remember to write it down, please write it down and just evaluate what was going on when you forgot. Okay? And now the goal here is to find out possibly where you're going at that moment.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I'm not saying that this is a fact that it is anything, but what else is happening if we are forgetting something so easy as someone's name, for instance, that we should know, but yet we're forgetting it? Or when we're in the middle of a story and we can't remember the middle part of the story, you know?
Yep.
And, I forgot it. Oh, we'll come back to it later. Don't worry. We'll backtrack. We'll come back to it. And eventually the memory will come back. But why did we forget it? That's the question.
Mm.
Is it someone interfering with our mind, or is it us actually interacting with something that we don't understand, and we're seeing the effects by the memory at that moment?
Interesting.
Yep, very interesting.
Now, I don't know if this is anything that that would go along with what the Bible teaches or anything like that, but we're a spiritual being, as I said this before. We're a spiritual being. I heard someone else say this too, so I'm using it. But we're a spiritual being trying to figure out life in a human body. Okay? We're not a human body trying to figure out the spiritual life. We already had the spiritual life figured out from the get-go.
Right.
All right? We came down here to learn something as a human. Maybe it's to love each other. It's to understand each other. It's to understand other opportunities. I don't mean love each other in a weird way. I mean love each other on a human sense, on a positive, good way, to try to help and build each other up. Not to kill each other. No, we're not supposed to run each other over. We're not supposed to shoot each other. We're not supposed to rob banks. We're not supposed to do anything like that. No. We're supposed to love each other on a human. That's why Jesus said what? Love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So that's what we're supposed to do. And we can do that across the world now with the internet.
Oh yeah.
We can show our love on a positive spiritual sense. We can show our love to somebody across the world without being weird or anything,
Yep.
So just consider that as why we are here.
Yep.
But just do that, Mia, that favor if you can just either write it down or take a note on your phone. Oh, I just had a moment, write down moment if you want. The moment you have a moment, then when you read that note, you say, holy cow, now I know what it was.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
you might
We will do that.
know where you go.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you might know if something interferes with you. I don't think the two spirits can be in the same body at the same time. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that no one can be possessed. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't think that two human spirits can be in the same body at the same time. You have people with split personalities. Oh, we have 13 spirits in us. No, that's not possible. What's possible is that maybe they were invaded by one person or several persons different times, okay? But there's only one spirit, one human spirit in that human body, period. And the only other spirit is the Holy Ghost that can be in there with that human spirit, okay?
Yeah.
There cannot be another human spirit in there. It would cause too much friction for the body, for one. The body would break down and you'd have many. That could be where some people are having the health issues, maybe. I don't know. But that's just weird, to think about it. So, I don't know. It's tough. You had that one guy in the New Testament where Jesus casted all the demons because he said he was Legion, right? And Jesus cast all the demons into the sheep and they ran off the cliff. Remember that story?
Yep.
So when I tell a story in the Bible, sometimes I get them mixed up. But I got it right in the sense that it was in the Bible. So, but again, that's where I get mixed up on that, right?
Yep.
Oh no, Anthony feels like he's on another planet now. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're about done then.
Yeah, I'm getting tired, Ron.
Yep.
Yeah. But hey, we can ramble on forever.
Mhm.
I'll tell you. We might say something important, but in the event that we would probably fall asleep before we got done with the conversation. Yeah, we might want to go to sleep. But this was fun. It wasn't that hard. It was entertaining too, so it wasn't too bad. We had a lot of friends pop in here, and still got 7 here. We had at one time 13 that were live watching. So that was plus 1 in this chat. So we had probably 14 at one time.
Nice. Very nice.
Maybe more. We have to go back and look. But
I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe next year though we can actually plan an interview where I can interview the whole team. That would be a lot of fun. And we can talk about some of the evidence that you have, or maybe what you're getting at the place there,
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. I would like that. So, but I know that scheduling didn't help us this time.
No, it was crazy.
It was nuts. Yep.
I mean, I didn't have any plans, but I know you guys all had some. That was my first time there, so I didn't really have any plans at all because I didn't know what was going on. So,
Oh, we don't stop.
but I might even consider getting a table myself and just start doing some stuff and just see what I can raise for tip money or something, Put a little jar out there, accept tips.
You'll work for food.
Yeah. But I don't know if I want to do all that work though. That's a lot of work too, though.
Yeah, it is.
But I did do 4. I know you guys don't like card readings, but I kind of enjoy doing that just for fun. And I'll explain something just to let you know that I do it a little bit different. All right.
Okay.
When I ask for guidance, I ask the Holy Spirit. I don't ask Source or anything like that. I ask the Holy Spirit for the message for the person that I'm reading for. Now, you don't see me do that because I do it personally inside of myself. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when I'm shuffling it, that's when I'm asking the guidance from the Holy Spirit. Okay? Now, in my opinion, cards are cards no matter what. It depends on your intention on how you're using them, whether they're bad or good. All right. In my opinion. All right. So, like my brother, for instance, he's a Christian. He doesn't believe in tarot cards, and he said, "Oh, they're evil." I said, "No, they're just cards with pictures on them. How are they evil?" And some of the ones that I use now personally, they're all positive messages. And they have nice pictures on the cards. And I asked my brother. I said, "Well, now do you use regular playing cards?" And I wasn't trying to argue with him. I'm just trying to prove a point. Do you use regular playing cards? And he says, "Yes." And he said, "What are on the playing cards?" "Well, numbers and symbols." That would be numerology. Hello, numbers, numerology.
Yes.
And so he didn't argue with me anymore about that situation. So, and I wasn't trying to really prove a point. I'm just trying to get a point across that you can use anything for negative if you want, but you can also use it for positive. And that's the whole point. I mean, like I use some dice. I got some astrology dice that I don't understand how to read them yet. But I know the one with the sun signs, and I know what those are. But I don't know how to number. I got one that has like a 24-sided or 12-sided dice, I guess. And it's like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. 12 months? I don't know. I got to figure it out. I got to learn how to do that and how to read it correctly. But with the cards, I did Cody and Story. You know who they are?
Yes.
Cody and Story. I did readings for them. And they should be doing a reading for me. I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But I offered one for them for not, no charge, just do it because I felt led to. And when I put the cards out, they're like, "Heck, that's exactly right. How did you?" I mean, I didn't know them from anybody. First time meeting them, And I told them exactly what they read everything that was on the card and said that fits us exactly. I did one for each of them, one for Satori first and one for Cody, and they said it was right on exactly what they were experiencing recently. So
fantastic.
I don't know how I do that. They accept the fact that I ask, the Holy Spirit for the message. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's a little bit different than what some do. Some go into the mysticism or the mystical side of things, and that if that's how they do it, that's fine. I ain't worried about that. Nobody's right or wrong, and everyone has different paths to go. So just do what you can do to help everybody the best you can, which is get the message to them.
Yep.
And that's what we do on these shows, try to get the message out. So that's what I think we did tonight, just having fun even.
Yep.
I don't
We
think we had.
appreciate you having us on, Ron. We're starting to fade over here, bud.
I know, I am too. Thank you. That's why I think I'm driving my car still. I'm just talking and I'm driving. Nobody's listening. I'm just talking to myself. All right, then. Hey, Marco's here. Hey, Marco, we're going to sleep, man. We're done.
You're late, Marco. We're closing down.
Yeah. So, Andy's saying, someone taser Ron. Slow him down.
I don't have my taser anymore, Randy.
Oh, no. All right. We'll see. We'll see you guys hopefully again next time. And if we can schedule it where we can get, I don't know, we can get all of you on at the same time because of scheduling, again.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one. Yeah. And I don't commit for other people, so.
No. I know. But maybe, you can certainly share good thoughts or good statements with being here, and it wasn't too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And, it was comfortable. I think you felt fine once we got going.
My ass is a little numb, but other than that, I'm doing
good. That's right. Well, you'll be fine. Just get up and walk around, and you'll be fine. All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate
it. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. I hope. Hopefully it'll be soon. All right. Good night,
everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and call it a night here too. We're gonna play that. I'm gonna play that out thing. I think. Play that one there. Here we go. Ready? Gonna play this, and we're gonna close it out. All right, we're out of here. And we will see you next time. Hey, Bobby. How you doing? Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Marco, for being here. Thank you, Andy. And Julie. Julie was up there somewhere. No, Marco, I don't have a dog. I got a cowbell. Because Julie said, gotta have more cowbells. I have that. All right. We are out of here. Have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. And we hope to see everybody next time. And we'll have more fun next time. I'll be more prepared with questions. You guys did really good. Chat did really good asking questions. Awesome. Yeah, Chris and Audra are great guests to have. And I know we talked to Ron and Lourdes, I think, before on the show. Or no, maybe Maureen did. I can't remember if I did. I think I did, though. Can't remember. Yeah, anyway, we're out of here. Yeah, you're right, Andy. Time to go to sleep. We are going to sign out now. Good night.